Skill-based matchmaking. You probably heard way too much about it on YouTube. If you're like me, you watch a lot of TimTheTatMans and his 18 channels, you know, TimTheTatMan, TimTheTatman 2, more TimTheTatMan, TimTheTatman Uncensored, TimTheTatman Extended Edition, TimTheTatman Explicit, TimTheTatman, The Fat Man, TimTheTatman, The Cooking Show. You fucking name it, right? And you probably heard all of his rants about skill-based matchmaking and how everybody has their own opinions and takes on it. And there's a lot of talk about it. But I want to talk about why skill-based matchmaking is actually pretty good. Hello my beautiful and lovely gamers, please, before you dislike the video and drop a hate comment, I know this is a very toxic topic, with the long and strong opinions, please hear out the video, because it's not as bad as it sounds, but at the same time, please tell me your opinions down in the comment section. I think it's, like, I've been watching so many YouTube videos and read a lot on Reddit about what people's opinions are, because I find people's view on the topic itself to be very fascinating, because it is a different way of kind of balancing stuff. It is very interesting, in my opinion, to look about how people's different experiences, also different skill level, and affects how they want matches to be balanced. Not how the game itself is built, but just like how we group people together in rank. So tell me down in the comment section, what is your thoughts and opinions on it? Of course, liking the video helps out. I'm a small YouTube content creator, so liking it helps spread it out, help promote it, and generally make the channel more healthy in the eyes of the YouTube gods. So thank you guys so much, and let's just begin. I think that the biggest frustration I have, and you might have had the same, when I hear people talk about skill-based matchmaking, which I would just call SBMM, because as you can hear, I struggle with saying skill-based matchmaking. I say matchmaking, because of my, I don't know, because I don't speak English as my primary language. And when you saw people talk about SBMM, the frustrating part is that people, for some reason, decides that it's either you should have it, everything should be strictly bound into different rating system, or you don't have it, and it's just pure chaos, and just like throw people together in a lobby and see what happens. That's at least how Tim a lot of time talks about it in his YouTube content. That's also how a lot of other content creators talks about it. The statement that there should never be skill-based match SBMM, sorry, there should never be SBMM in casual mode. Period. And if you're like me, that sounds like a very broad statement that's just not correct, in my opinion. Here's the thing. If you play a game like League of Legends, or Overwatch, or Valorant, any form of competitive team-based game, League of Legends team-based, Omega lol, right? You know what I mean, right? Where there's two sides. You don't want a random composed lobby. You don't want a Diamond League player laning against an Iron League player. You don't want to play Overwatch and a GM player plays against a Bronze player or Silver player. You don't want in Valorant a Immortal player playing against an Iron player. You get, like, you don't want those two sides of the spectrum to meet, even in a casual mode. Even in casual mode. And that is where I get a little bit frustrated. You can't take every single game under the same wave, and that's the very first one. You can't take every single competitive game into one bucket and just say this should or should not have a matchmaking. And two, you should, even in games like Fortnite or Warzone or any battle royale, which is a very different. Battle royale balancing and how lobbies should be composed are very different from a competitive title, even the casual modes in the competitive title. We're not talking about rank, and rank mode can really balance a lot of this. But it should, in my opinion, there should always be SBMM in majority of the titles, not all of them, but in majority of these titles, to a certain extent. In Overwatch, Valorant, League, there should be a SBMM, a matchmaking way of making sure that Iron players does not mean Diamond players in League or Valorant, because that is not a fun. It is not fun. As somebody that has been GM in Overwatch multiple times, I'm currently actually not. I think I'm barely 4K, right? But when I peaked 4.2K, for example, I did not want to meet bronze in my quick play games, even though I never play quick play, right? Because it's not fun for me shitting on bronze and silver players, and it's not fun having teammates in bronze and silver with me, because that's not the level that I want to play on. I don't want to meet other GM players, like exclusively GM and Masters when I play quick play. I want to meet maybe some Diamond players, maybe some Platinum players. That's fine. That's a fine elo to meet. You're still better than them. You're still meeting people that's higher elo than you. When I play League, unrated or whatever it's called, casual mode or whatever, blind pick I think it's called in League, I don't mind meeting like gold and plats. Like, I'll get shit on, of course I will, but it's fine. Like, I can meet people that's higher elo than me in League, and I'm fine with it. But if I meet like a Diamond player or a Master player, at that point it becomes like it is not even something I can learn from, and it's not the same as a Call of Duty solo queue lobby. It's not the same as team deathmatch. And again, it goes for every other lane. If I play top lane and I am, let's say I'm a Platinum player. I'm not. I'm Silver. But let's say I'm a Platinum player and I meet a Iron player. I shit on the Iron player in my lane, and then my bot lane is meeting a Master player and they're Silver, and then they get shit on. Now they're fed, right? You don't want a game where your teammate is also built on very unstable lanes in a competitive title like League, and the same in Valorant, and the same in Overwatch. You don't want to be a Master player in Overwatch playing with Silvers in your quick play games, because it's just a completely different game, in my opinion. Skill-based matchmaking in those games should have a gradient. It should not be very strict. It should not limit you. So if you are Diamond, you play against Diamonds. Maybe some Master, maybe a little bit of Plat, high Plat. That's your area, right? It shouldn't be like that. That's what rank is for. It should be very loose. If you're Diamond in Overwatch, you might meet some Silvers. You might meet some Golds, right? You might be there. You also might meet some GM. Right? You're in the middle, so you meet a little bit of everything. And then it's somewhat balanced, right? So there might be a little bit of a Silver, there might be a Gold. That way it's a little bit relaxed. When it comes to Warzone and Battle Royales, it's very, very different. Those lobbies should be incredibly laxed when it comes to matchmaking. But you should not still meet people that has absolutely no idea what the fuck is going on. Either it's a kid that's like 5 and somehow has gotten onto playing, and he's like standing still and struggles to like even orient himself, to people that just generally aren't that good at the game. Maybe they can't move and shoot at the same time. Maybe they stop, crouch, and then hipfire, and those exist where they crouch around the map, they look at somebody, and then they just like blindly hipfires at them, and then they hope they die. That is like the lowest tier in those kind of games. Like, that's like, the equivalent of like a bronze or an iron player, right? And those people should not be in the lobby with players like TimTheTatMan, in my opinion. Tim is way fucking better than that. But Tim shouldn't be in games. And when you play something like Warzone, or when you play something like Modern Warfare Team Deathmatch, or Cold War Team Deathmatch, or whatever modes you play in Cold War, you shouldn't meet players. You shouldn't be in a lobby where essentially it's ranked, where they have a very strict SBMM, and where they are limiting you, where like you are playing against people that is equivalent to your skill level all the fucking time. And if you have a good game, we just turn on the difficulty. And if you have a bad game, we might turn down the difficulty. That should not be it, in my opinion. That makes the lobbies too sweaty. For somebody that makes Titanfall 2 content now as well, those games doesn't have SBMM. And that is a very good formula where anyone should just be able to play, because it's incredibly casual. It's not a competitive title. It's not a team versus team. It is team deathmatch in Titanfall. You queue up, you meet people that is like completely not very good at the game to people that are very good at the game. And you'll meet those, and it's like it's a casual lobby. I still haven't met anybody that is like sitting and camping in a corner and like can't have any mechanical, like really just like literally does not know how to operate a computer in an FPS game. I still haven't met that. but you meet very, very casual lobbies. The same in Battlefield. If you go to Battlefield 4, for example, it's a server browser. If you queue the normal way, you go to server browser. There's no limitation. You just get into a raw experience. There are people that are really good. There's people that are really shit. And then there's everything in between. And it works in a game like Battlefield, especially in like normal capture the flag mode, because it's just you just running around the map, having fun. And in that game, and that is what everybody gets so mad about, in that game, I can play with my meme loadout, which is like completely counterproductive. It is not meta at all. It's not a good gun. It is built for me to have fun with, because I think it's fun to use. And I can swap around with fun weapons and build whatever builds I want in that game, and just run around and have a good time. And it's incredibly casual, while still, because there's so many players in the lobby, it is still a challenge. There's still, I will die because there's too many people. I will be able to go on kill streaks, but I will also be able to die immediately. There's 32 people on each side of the game. Yes, there's still a lot of people that play Battlefield 4 currently. So it is still a balanced experience. Because it is not, whatever Activision believes, it is not a world where if it is either completely balanced by tight, strict, everybody's the same rank system, or everything is just chaos and there's no challenge for some individuals, you will still be challenged. Because even the mid-tier bracket players can take down high-tier players. Because they, like, if you have decent aim in an FPS game, and you get a drop on somebody, or you outnumber them, or you just get them when they're low on resources, there can be scenarios where a good player can lose to somebody that is less mechanical gifted, either because they use different weapons, they got a good drop on you, you are already low on resources. There are chances where that will happen. In Valorant and Counter-Strike is a really good example of that. You can be a diamond player or an immortal player in a game like Valorant, and you can die to a silver. Because by being immortal, you don't take more damage. One headshot does it with a Vandal. And overall, you will dominate them, and you should not be hit because you will burn utility correctly. But they can still take you down. And when we translate that away from a competitive side over to something like Warzone, because you're good in Warzone, that does not mean that you will take more damage than normal. If somebody lines up his crosshair to you and holds down the fire button, you die just as fast. Now, they don't have the same aim as a really good competitive player. They don't have the positioning. You will be able to outduel them and position them and outplay them, but they can still kill you. So it's still a challenge when there's 100 people in a fucking lobby. So I don't believe in Warzone the skill-based matchmaking should be incredibly loose. That is what I believe. I don't believe that having a strict SBMM makes the game more fun, because it doesn't. And how I know that is that if I play a competitive game, any game with a SBMM on it, with some of my friends who are lower ranked than me, I'm having a better time than when I'm playing solo. One, because of course I'm playing with friends, but because the game is less sweaty for me. Because my friends will drag down my elo, and I will go in lower ranked games. And that is more fun for me, because when I'm playing an unready game with my friends, I want to have fun. However, if I play with some of my good old competitive friends from Overwatch, which are high elo in whatever game we're playing, if that's Counter-Strike or whatever, the games are so much more sweaty. For example, in Valorant, where we will meet other like diamond players in those lobbies. That isn't as fun anymore. Or especially if we go to something like Warzone, where we play with good Warzone players, all of a sudden we're meeting incredible, like, people that are only using meta guns, people that are really fucking good. And it's not the fact that we want to shit on people. It's not the fact that we don't like being challenged. You're talking to the most sweaty guy here. That I am the guy in your Warzone lobby that is sweaty. That is me. I love improving. When I scrimmed in Overwatch, we always scrim better teams. We never... I've talked about this before on my channel, my entire mentality for my team and why we improved fast was that we only wanted to scrim teams that were better than us. But it's because that's how you improve. I'm a coach in Overwatch because I love improvement. I love ranking up. That's why I have a channel dedicated on guides and talk about esports and how to be better at video games. That's why I talk about aiming and have aim drills on my channel, and I do them myself. So it's not that I don't like being challenged. I love being challenged. That's why I think that there should be a limit to how low elo players should be in my lobbies. I don't want people that are crouching around the map, not shooting back at me. I don't want that. That's not fun. And I don't want my team to be those guys either, that does not follow me, does not play remotely on my speed. I don't want that. That's boring. I don't learn anything. I don't get challenged. Why do I play then? But I don't want that every time you queue for a casual game mode that you have to focus. A lot of time I like to sit in my... a lot of time I personally like to play and watch something on Netflix or listen to something on YouTube if I solo queue. Then I don't want my games to be sweaty. I want to watch my Netflix show. I don't want to be in a sweaty lobby where everybody has to play the best. And that's... And again, I do, right, like everybody else does, I still play it. But the important part is, if you look at something, again, like Battlefield or Titanfall, something that I have now returned to due to my YouTube channel, and because I wanted to revisit those games, the atmosphere is so much... I'm having so much more fun with those old school games. That's because they are really good games, of course, but not because those... I'm tired of any other title. It's not because I'm tired of Call of Duty, because I still think Modern Warfare is one of the best Call of Duty games ever, and I know I'll get a lot of hate for that, but that's my personal opinion. It is because when I play those games, I have to be constantly playing really, really good. And again, for me, I feel challenged from time to time, but it's not in a way, because I'm always sweaty. Like, my casual way of playing games is a sweaty way of playing games. So even when I'm playing casually, it's still a very sweaty experience for me, and I will still do good in most of my titles. So for me, it's not like I'm low on the scoreboard. It's just the fact that you have to play with good guns, or you meet people that are equivalent in your skill level all the fucking time. And if you do better, if you have a really good game, you know they will just turn on the difficulty all the time. And in the end, you will get into lobbies where you're people that is just as sweaty as you, just as hardcore as you. And at that point, it becomes this area where if I want to use again, like in Battlefield, a gun that is really trash and not very well optimized, that won't happen. So you shouldn't have SBMM where it is tight locked, where it is you meet people around your skill level all the time, and if you do good, we just turn on the difficulty. However, you should also not have no filter whatsoever, in my opinion, where you can meet the worst players in the universe, if you are professional. I think an area where if you are below average in a game, you will meet people that are better than you in almost every single lobby, because you're below average. So you will meet above average and really good players in your Warzone games from time to time. And then you will have there will also be people that are worse than you in those lobbies, and there will be people that are your skill level in those lobbies. And now you have someone to play with. And if you are, equivalent of being like, the top 1% of Warzone players, then you will most likely dominate every single lobby, and every single lobby will be in an area where you can play and where you can do really, really well, because you're top 1%. The chance of you meeting other people of your skill level is very low. But there will still not be like complete bots in your lobby. Like the new people that have never played an FPS game before, that are brand new to this game, those won't be in your lobbies. I think that is a fair way of looking at it. To have an SBMM system that makes sure that the two very, very, very big edge cases of the best players in the world and the worst players in the game, that those two doesn't really collide a lot. But at the same time, where you can queue into something that is a casual game and enjoy it and play around with it and have a good time, play with some different loadouts. And that doesn't mean if you are above average that you won't meet professional players that will dumpster you. And if you're a professional player, that you won't meet other professional or top 1% players. That's not what that doesn't mean. You might still meet some of them, but the chance of there being other people in the lobby and the chance of you meeting them every single fucking game is very, very low. And I think that's what I personally think is the best way of balancing these type of games. And also is the most moderate way of balancing it. Because in the end, we can't always think about we can't always constantly think about we want like something completely unreasonable for these giant tiles. They won't remove their SBMMs. They have their data and their reasoning to have them in that. They won't remove them no matter how much they cry. So it's also a good way to say, okay, let's actually try to think about a reasonable way of balancing this, where we can enjoy our games in a casual manner, in a relaxed manner, without being sweaty fucking tryhards, but at the same time be in a environment where you're not running the best players into the worst players of the game, and where everything is complete chaos, and where you will be playing, again, competitive titles should be balanced completely differently, but where you will be playing with essential bots when you're duo queuing in Apex, or when you're playing Fortnite, or whatever game you're playing that has SBMM, where you're playing with people that does not push, that doesn't know how to use the game, that just can't actually play at even remotely at your level. They don't need to be your level, but at least be able to play around your level, right? That way it is far more relaxed without being essentially a bully fest, right? Again, if you made it this far into the video, it's fucking 20-minute long. That's what happens when I start ranting. If you did, I would be surprised if anyone makes it this far to a video, but if you did, go down in the comment section, write fish. Sure, write fish in the comment section. I will heart the comment, and it will kind of be my way of gauging who made it this far. 20 minutes. Who the fuck wants to listen to me for 20 minutes? Anyway, that's all for me. Please do take care of yourself. Stay positive. I love you guys very, very much. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. And remember to please tell somebody that you love them. My name has been Jonal, and you guys, as always, keep the enemy in your crosshairs.